The small shuttle hovered above the strange, colorful planet, its engines humming softly. Below, an enormous garden stretched as far as the eye could see. It was alive in a way Leo had never seen. Flowers shimmered with colors that seemed impossible, and vines twisted and moved as if they had minds of their own. Leo, a human explorer with a calm determination, adjusted his seat and looked out the viewport. "This is it," he whispered to himself. "The Garden of Seduction." Stories told of this place across the galaxy, plants that reacted to emotions, flowers that could communicate, and a rare glowing bloom that no alien had ever fully controlled. Humans had long been warned, enter the garden only if your mind is strong and your heart is steady. The shuttle landed softly on a smooth clearing. Leo stepped out, feeling the cool air brush against his skin. The scent of alien flowers was strong and sweet, almost dizzying. He pulled out a small scanner to record the environment, but before he could take a reading, a soft voice spoke behind him. "You're not supposed to be here." Leo turned and saw a tall figure with luminous skin and long silver hair. Her eyes, large and curious, glimmered with intelligence. She wore a flowing robe that seemed to shimmer like the petals around her. "I mean no harm," Leo said quickly, raising his hand slightly. "I'm just here to explore, to understand the garden." The alien studied him for a moment. "I am Nira," she said. "I protect this garden. Humans are unpredictable. You should leave before the plants decide for you." Leo smiled gently. "I understand. But I've traveled far. I've studied gardens across the galaxy, but none like this. I want to learn, not destroy." Nira's eyes narrowed, but there was a hint of interest. "Very well. Follow me, but stay alert. The garden does not forgive mistakes easily." As they walked, Leo noticed the plants seemed to lean slightly toward him, almost as if they were watching. Vines curled softly around his boots but did not touch him. Flowers shifted their colors, glowing brighter with each step. He realized quickly that the garden responded to feelings: his curiosity, his calm respect, even his excitement. "This place," Leo said, almost in awe. "It's alive. It reacts to us." Nira nodded. "It is not just alive. It feels. It tests those who enter. Some leave with joy, some with regret, and some never leave at all." Leo felt a thrill run through him. He had faced danger before in deep space, but nothing like this. He had to rely on more than strength. He had to use his mind, his patience, and his heart. The path led them to a clearing filled with flowers of every color, each more radiant than the last. In the center, a strange light glowed from a cluster of petals, pulsating gently. Leo felt a tug in his chest, a mixture of curiosity and cautious excitement. "Do not touch it," Nira warned. "That flower responds to thought. It can show you visions, dreams, or fears. Few have the will to face what it reveals." Leo took a slow step closer, fascinated. "I'm not afraid." Nira studied him silently. His human confidence was unusual. Most beings trembled before the garden's tests, but he seemed calm, respectful, and curious all at once. She could not help but feel a hint of admiration. Suddenly, a vine shot up between them, twisting like a snake. Leo froze, but he did not panic. Instead, he observed it carefully. He noticed that the vine reacted to hesitation and fear. Slowly, he stepped to the side, moving in a calm and precise way. The vine recoiled gently, leaving a safe path. Nira's eyes widened slightly. "Few can do that. Humans are remarkable." Leo smiled faintly. "I've learned that observation is often stronger than force." They continued walking, deeper into the garden. Strange plants shifted around them, petals brushing against their shoulders as if to test their reactions. Leo noticed that when he remained calm and gentle, the plants allowed him passage. When he hesitated, they blocked his path. Hours passed, but Leo felt no fatigue. The garden seemed to accept his presence, recognizing his respect and intelligence. Nero led him to a small stream with water that sparkled like liquid crystal. The reflection of the plants shimmered on its surface, creating an almost magical scene. "This is just the beginning," Nero said softly. "The garden will challenge you more as you go. It tests heart, mind, and courage." Leo looked at the glowing plants around him and felt a deep sense of wonder. "I've never seen anything like this. It's beautiful, and dangerous. And I think I'm ready to face it." Nira nodded, a faint smile appearing for the first time. "We shall see. The Garden of Seduction tests all who enter. Humans, you may be different." As the sun of the alien world set, casting golden light across the flowers, Leo took a deep breath. He was ready. The adventure had only just begun. The next morning, the alien sun rose slowly, casting soft golden light across the garden. Leo woke in the small shelter Nira had prepared for him. Outside, the flowers glimmered as if greeting the new day. He stepped out and felt a strange energy in the air. It was alive, pulsing gently, almost like the garden was aware of him. Nira approached, carrying a small satchel filled with delicate seeds. "Today," she said, "you will see more of the garden's true nature. It is not just a place of beauty. It tests those who enter. The plants respond to thoughts, feelings, and actions." Leo nodded. "I understand. I will be careful." They walked along a winding path, flanked by tall, luminescent flowers. As they moved, Leo noticed something odd. The colors of the plants shifted subtly depending on his mood. When he felt confident, the petals glowed bright blue and gold. When he hesitated or felt uncertainty, the flowers turned darker, almost threatening. "This place, it reads us," Leo said. "It's almost like it knows our thoughts." Nira smiled faintly. "Yes. The garden is ancient and powerful. Many have come seeking its secrets, but few succeed. Some are turned away before even stepping into the inner paths." Suddenly, a series of vines rose from the ground, forming a barrier. Leo froze for a moment, but he remembered what Nira had said. He calmed his mind and observed. The vines twisted and shifted, creating a maze that reacted to his fear. Taking a slow, steady breath, Leo stepped forward. Each movement was deliberate. He focused on patience and clarity, not force. Gradually, the vines parted, allowing him to continue. Nira's eyes widened. Few humans remain calm in this garden. Most panic, and the plants sense it. Leo smiled. "Observation is the key. Patience and respect guide us further than strength alone." As they continued, the path opened into a wide clearing filled with flowers that emitted a soft hum. Leo felt a strange sensation in his chest, a mix of wonder and mild anxiety. The plants seemed to respond to him directly. Some petals gently brushed against his skin, like an invitation to touch or explore, while others recoiled. "This is one of the garden's oldest sections," Nira explained. "It tests your emotions. You cannot lie to it. It reflects your true self." Leo walked slowly, touching the flowers lightly and letting his mind remain calm. Images appeared in his vision, memories of Earth, moments of courage, and times when he had acted selfishly. The garden showed him not just who he was, but who he could become. "Do not fear what you see," Nira advised. "The garden does not punish. It reveals. Many are afraid of themselves." Leo nodded. He remembered his life leaving his home planet, exploring unknown worlds, learning from mistakes. He realized the garden was showing him that human qualities, curiosity, courage, and empathy were just as important as skill or knowledge. Further along, they reached a section with plants shaped like translucent towers. Each tower emitted a gentle light that pulsed in rhythm. Leo reached out to touch one, and instantly he felt a wave of calm wash over him. The light seemed to communicate without words, showing him images of alien creatures thriving in harmony with nature. These towers, Nira said softly, show what is possible when life respects itself and others. The garden wants those who enter to understand this balance. Leo felt a deep respect growing within him. The garden was not just a test, it was a teacher. It wanted to nurture, but only if the visitor proved they could understand and honor its wisdom. Suddenly, a small group of thorn flowers sprang up around them, blocking the path. Leo noticed they moved like they were alive, forming barriers and occasionally nudging Nira slightly. "Watch your reactions," Nira warned. "The garden responds to fear or aggression. Calmness and patience will pass these trials." Leo smiled faintly. He stepped carefully, moving without panic. When he reached out gently to part the flowers, they slowly retreated, revealing the path. Nira watched him closely, impressed. "You understand the garden in a way few beings do. Humans may be rare, but they are remarkable." The day passed with similar trials: plants that reacted to doubt, flowers that tested curiosity, and gentle vines that nudged him toward self-awareness. By evening, Leo felt both exhausted and exhilarated. The garden had already revealed secrets, tested emotions, and challenged his mind in ways he had never expected. As the twin moons rose above the horizon, bathing the garden in soft silver light, Leo looked at Nira. "I feel like I've only just begun to understand this place." Nira nodded. "This is only the beginning. The heart of the garden holds truths that even I have never fully seen. You are ready for what comes next, if your courage holds." Leo smiled, feeling a mix of excitement and determination. The Garden of Seduction had begun to reveal its mysteries, and he was ready to face them. The next morning, Leo awoke to the soft glow of alien light filtering through the canopy. The air was filled with the scent of glowing flowers, and a gentle hum seemed to resonate from the ground beneath his feet. Today, Nira said, would test not just his heart and emotions, but his mind. As they walked, Nira pointed to a section ahead. The path was blocked by a series of tall, translucent walls, shimmering like water. "This is the maze of reflections," she explained. "It reacts to thought. Many beings cannot pass because they try to force their way through. You must observe, think, and adapt." Leo examined the maze carefully. Each wall reflected his image, but subtle differences made him hesitate. Some walls showed him smiling, others showed him frightened. It was as if the maze was trying to confuse him. He took a deep breath. "Patience," he whispered to himself. "Observation first, then action." He stepped forward slowly, noticing small patterns in the reflections. Certain walls dimmed when he approached calmly, while others brightened when he hesitated. He realized that fear or impatience made the maze more complicated, while careful, deliberate thinking allowed the path to open. Nira followed silently, watching him with growing admiration. Humans were said to be adaptable, but seeing it firsthand was impressive. Leo was not rushing. He analyzed each movement, predicting how the walls might react. Slowly but steadily, he navigated the maze, each step a balance of caution and confidence. Finally, he reached the center. A single flower grew there, glowing softly with a warm, golden light. When he touched it, he felt a surge of clarity and strength. It was a small reward, but it reminded him that thought and respect could overcome even the garden's toughest challenges. Nira stepped forward. "Few outsiders can pass the maze of reflections. You see patterns where others see confusion. Humans are clever in ways even the garden admires." Leo smiled faintly. "We adapt. We observe. We try to understand, rather than conquer." They continued along a path lined with vines that curled into intricate shapes, forming puzzles that blocked their way. One section had a bridge made entirely of living vines, shifting constantly. One wrong step could send a person falling into a pit filled with glowing spores. Leo studied the bridge carefully. He noticed the vines reacted to pressure and movement. He placed each foot carefully, testing a small section before moving forward. When a vine shifted unexpectedly, he adjusted his weight instantly, never panicking, never rushing. Slowly, methodically, he crossed the bridge. Nira's eyes widened. Your human skill in thinking, predicting, and reacting, it is extraordinary. Most beings would give up before reaching this point. Further along, they came to a cluster of plants that reacted to sound. Each time Leo spoke, the flowers either moved closer or recoiled. Nira explained that these plants tested creativity and logic. Leo realized that making noise recklessly would anger the plants. Instead, he whispered soft words, humming quietly, observing their reactions. He noticed patterns in the way they moved. With gentle guidance and subtle sound, he coaxed them to part, revealing a path forward. Hours passed, but Leo's mind remained sharp. He felt a deep connection forming with the garden. Each test was a lesson, each challenge an opportunity to apply human ingenuity. He realized that being clever was not just about tools or technology, it was about observing, adapting, and respecting the environment. Nira walked beside him, carrying a few alien seedlings in her hands. You remind me why humans are spoken of with admiration. Courage is important, yes, but cleverness and respect make a being truly capable. As the sun dipped lower, casting golden light across the twisting paths, Leo paused to look at the garden. The colors, the shapes, the subtle movements of each plant, all of it responded to thought and care. It was unlike anything he had seen, a living puzzle that rewarded intelligence and patience. A sudden movement caught his attention. A vine, larger and faster than before, blocked the path ahead. It lashed out like a whip, testing his reflexes. Leo reacted instantly, stepping to the side and using a small branch to guide it gently aside. The vine curled calmly back to the ground, leaving the path open. Nira's smile widened. You are different. Humans do not always rely on strength. They use their minds. The garden respects that. Leo felt a quiet pride, but he did not celebrate. The garden was vast, and he knew this was only one of many challenges. Still, the feeling of achievement strengthened him. For the first time, he truly understood how his human qualities, curiosity, cleverness, and calm determination made him capable in ways the garden could not ignore. As they set up camp near a stream, Leo looked at Nira. I've learned much today. The garden tests all of us, but it feels alive, guiding us rather than punishing. I think I'm beginning to understand it. Nira nodded. And it is beginning to understand you. Tomorrow, the tests will grow deeper, testing not just your mind, but your heart. The true challenges are yet to come. Leo gazed at the glowing plants around him, feeling a mixture of excitement and anticipation. The garden of seduction was teaching him, and he was ready to continue learning, step by careful step. The morning air was cool and fragrant, carrying the subtle hum of the garden's life. Leo and Nira continued their journey along a path lined with luminous flowers whose petals seemed to sway in rhythm with their steps. Today, Nira warned, the garden would test not just the mind, but the heart. This section, Nira said softly, reveals feelings you may not even know you have. The garden reflects what is inside you: hope, fear, courage, doubt. You must remain honest with yourself. Leo nodded, feeling a mixture of excitement and caution. He had faced physical challenges and puzzles before, but this would be different. The garden had already shown him its intelligence, its awareness. Now it would probe his emotions. As they entered a clearing, the air shimmered with soft golden light. Strange flowers grew here, their petals translucent and almost liquid in appearance. Leo noticed that as he walked, the flowers seemed to respond to his emotions. When he felt calm and confident, they glowed warmly. When a fleeting doubt passed through him, the petals darkened slightly, forming a subtle barrier. Nira stepped beside him. These flowers can sense inner conflict. Many beings leave this part of the garden unsettled or afraid. You must face what you feel without hiding it. Leo took a deep breath and focused on the calm strength he carried. The garden seemed to shift in response. A path opened ahead, leading them deeper into the heart of the clearing. Suddenly, he felt a pull in his chest. A soft, glowing mist formed around him, showing visions of his past moments of fear, times he had made mistakes, and occasions when he had chosen courage and kindness. He realized the garden was not trying to punish him but to teach him self-awareness. Nira walked beside him silently. The garden shows truth. You cannot hide from it. Accept what you see, and you may find clarity. Leo faced each vision without flinching. He acknowledged his past errors, remembered the friends and family who had guided him, and allowed himself to feel pride for the times he had been brave. As he did, the mist around him brightened, and the flowers seemed to reach out gently, like hands offering encouragement. The next test came quickly. A group of vines rose from the ground, forming shapes that resembled creatures from his memories, friends, teachers, and even rivals. They moved toward him, testing his reactions. Leo remembered Nira's advice, remain honest with your heart. Instead of running or striking, he spoke calmly, addressing the shapes with kindness and respect. I see you, he said. I remember you, and I honor the lessons you gave me. The vines paused, then slowly lowered themselves to the ground. The path cleared, revealing a small pool with water as clear as crystal. Reflections shimmered on its surface, showing not just his face, but the calm, steady determination he carried inside. Nira's eyes softened as she watched him. Few can remain composed and honest here. Humans are unusual in their ability to balance emotion and thought. The garden recognizes that. They continued along the path, reaching a grove of flowers that emitted soft, melodic tones. Each sound seemed to evoke a memory or feeling. Leo realized that to proceed, he would need to harmonize with the music of the garden. He listened carefully, allowing the notes to flow through him. Slowly, he hummed along, matching the rhythm and tone. The flowers reacted instantly, petals swaying and parting to reveal the way forward. Nira's smile widened. Your mind is clever, but your heart, it is steady. That is what the garden seeks. Hours passed as Leo faced more subtle challenges, visions that evoked fear, flowers that mirrored uncertainty, and gentle vines that nudged him to confront emotions he had ignored. Each time, he approached with honesty and calm, observing and responding with thoughtfulness rather than fear or aggression. By evening, they reached a luminous tree at the center of the grove. Its branches sparkled with hundreds of tiny lights, each representing a being who had come before. Some lights flickered and vanished, others glowed steadily. The garden had tested them all, revealing inner truths and rewarding those who faced themselves. Leo placed his hand gently on the tree's trunk. He felt a warm pulse, almost like the heartbeat of the garden itself. The light seemed to brighten in response, acknowledging his courage, honesty, and respect. Nira stood beside him, her expression proud. The garden tests everyone differently. Today, it has seen your heart. Few beings face themselves so openly and calmly. Humans, you are capable of more than many realize. Leo felt a quiet pride, but it was tempered by humility. The garden had revealed much, but he knew this was only one of many challenges. Still, he had learned something essential: courage alone was not enough. Understanding, empathy, and honesty with oneself were just as important. As the twin moons rose, casting soft silver light across the grove, Leo and Nira settled near the luminous tree. The garden hummed around them, alive and patient, waiting for the next day's lessons. Leo looked at Nira and said softly, I feel like the garden is teaching me, but also trusting me. I want to continue, no matter what challenges come. Nira nodded, a faint smile playing on her lips. Tomorrow, the tests will become even deeper. The heart is only the beginning. Soon, you will face choices that will test courage, mind, and soul together. Are you ready for that? Leo took a deep breath, gazing at the glowing flowers surrounding them. I am ready, he said firmly. The garden had already begun to shape him, and he would face whatever came next with calm determination. The morning sun bathed the garden in soft golden light, and a gentle breeze carried the scent of 1,000 flowers. Leo and Nero walked quietly along a narrow path, knowing that today they would reach the heart of the garden, the place where the rare flower, said to glow like the sun, awaited. This flower, Nero said softly, is the most precious in the garden. It does not simply grow, it chooses those who are worthy. Only courage, intelligence, and respect allow a being to approach it safely. Leo nodded, feeling both excitement and a little nervousness. He had passed tests of mind and heart, but the garden still held mysteries he could not yet imagine. Every step he took was measured and careful, aware that the garden watched and responded to every emotion and thought. As they approached a clearing, Leo gasped. Before them, a single flower grew on a pedestal of twisting vines. Its petals glowed with golden light that seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. The sight was breathtaking, almost magical. Even the air around it shimmered, carrying warmth and a gentle hum. It's incredible, Leo whispered, taking a slow step forward. Nira nodded. It is beautiful, yes, but dangerous to those who approach without care. The flower tests intention. If it senses fear, greed, or arrogance, it will vanish or worse, reject the visitor entirely. Leo took another deep breath. He placed one hand over his chest and whispered, I seek only understanding and respect. I will not harm you, and I will not take more than I am given. The flower seemed to respond. Its light pulsed gently, almost like approval. Leo stepped closer, careful not to disturb the delicate petals. The golden glow reflected in his eyes, and for a moment, he felt a connection that was almost like understanding. Suddenly, a section of the garden began to shift. Vines rose from the ground, curling and twisting as if trying to block their way. Leo and Nero froze. The garden was testing them once again. This is part of the flower's challenge, Nero said. The heart of the garden does not give freely. You must act with calm and thought. Leo observed the vines. They were fast, but not mindless. Each movement seemed to respond to hesitation or aggression. Remembering previous lessons, he stepped carefully, using gentle gestures to guide the vines aside rather than forcing them. Slowly, a clear path opened toward the flower. Nira's eyes brightened. You have learned quickly. Humans can combine courage and cleverness in ways few beings can. As they approached the flower again, a sudden ripple of glowing spores filled the air. They swirled and danced like a soft golden storm. Leo instinctively shielded Nira and himself with his arms, but he also noticed the spores reacted to fear. The more calm he remained, the more they parted, forming a safe corridor to the flower. Leo smiled faintly. It's all about patience and understanding. Finally, they reached the pedestal. Leo knelt carefully, placing his hands near the petals without touching them. The golden glow seemed to expand, filling the clearing with warmth and light. He felt a gentle energy course through him, not harmful but deeply powerful, as if the flower was sharing its essence with him. Nero watched silently, impressed. The flower recognizes respect and humility. Few beings reach this point. The garden is responding to you, Leo. But just as they were about to move closer, a sudden crack echoed through the clearing. A section of the garden's outer path collapsed, sending a wave of smaller plants and vines toppling toward them. Leo's quick reflexes kicked in. He grabbed Nira's hand and pulled her aside, guiding her to safety while simultaneously holding back the falling vines with a steady push of his strength and careful movements. The flower's glow seemed to stabilize again, calming the chaos. Leo exhaled, realizing the garden had tested not just respect and intelligence, but courage under pressure. Nira's eyes were wide with admiration. You acted quickly and wisely. Many would have panicked or fled. Humans, you are remarkable in both mind and heart. Leo nodded, a little exhausted but filled with satisfaction. The garden teaches more than I imagined. It tests every part of us, not just our bravery. As the chaos settled, the rare flower glowed even brighter, as if acknowledging their success. The clearing felt serene again, and Leo knelt, letting his hands hover gently over the petals, careful not to disturb them. He felt a quiet sense of accomplishment. The garden had revealed one of its deepest secrets, and he had passed its test. Nira placed a hand on his shoulder. Tomorrow, the final trials await. The garden will test how all you have learned mind, heart, and courage can be used together. Are you prepared for that? Leo looked at the glowing flower, feeling its warmth seep into his mind and spirit. I am ready. I've learned from the garden, and I will face whatever comes next with care and respect. The sun began to set, casting long shadows and turning the petals golden orange. The garden hummed quietly, alive and patient, waiting for the next day's lessons. Leo and Nira sat quietly near the rare flower, both aware that the most important challenges were yet to come. The next day, the garden seemed more alive than ever. Golden light filtered through the leaves, and the air was filled with the hum of unseen energy. Leo and Nira walked carefully toward the central grove, where the rare flower had tested them the day before. Today, Nira warned, the garden would demand not just cleverness and patience, but action. Sometimes, she said, the garden creates danger to see how a being responds. It watches courage, kindness, and quick thinking. You must act with both mind and heart. Leo nodded. He had already learned patience and observation. Now it was time to put those lessons into practice. As they approached the grove, the ground trembled slightly. From the nearby trees, vines began to twist and lunge unpredictably, blocking the path forward. Smaller plants shook violently, shedding petals and spores that filled the air. The garden had shifted suddenly, an unexpected test. Nira froze for a moment, startled. This is dangerous, she said. Some visitors panic, but you must remain calm. Leo scanned the chaos quickly. He noticed that the large vines reacted to hesitation. If he moved with fear, they would strike harder. Thinking fast, he grabbed a sturdy branch and used it to gently redirect one vine away from Nira. Another vine lunged, but Leo anticipated its movement and leapt aside, landing safely while keeping a hand out to pull Nira along. The smaller plants began tumbling toward them as the ground shook more violently. Leo realized they needed to move quickly, but reckless speed would trigger more danger. He took a deep breath and assessed the pattern of the falling vines. With careful steps, guiding Nira behind him, he navigated through the chaos, redirecting plants with steady hands and calm movements. The rare flower, still glowing at the center of the grove, seemed to pulse brighter as they approached. Its light gave them a subtle guide through the dangerous path. Leo realized the garden was rewarding courage and cleverness with this gentle hint. Suddenly, a large vine whipped across the clearing, knocking Nira off balance. Without hesitation, Leo lunged forward and grabbed her arm, steadying her just in time. She looked at him, wide-eyed. You reacted so fast," she said. "I had to," Leo said, keeping his focus. "We move together. The garden tests us, but we must respect it while acting wisely." Another surge of plants rose, forming a wall between them and the flower. Leo noticed that the wall moved in a pattern slightly slower than the vines before. Using careful timing, he guided Nira through, stepping precisely when the plants shifted, never forcing them, always reading their motions. By now, the garden was trembling and shifting as if alive, challenging them to prove their courage under pressure. Leo's heart pounded, but he stayed calm, drawing on everything he had learned from the garden so far: observation, patience, and empathy. Finally, they reached the glowing flower at the heart of the grove. Its golden light enveloped them, calming the chaos around. The vines retreated, the shaking ceased, and the smaller plants settled, as if acknowledging their success. Leo exhaled, feeling both relief and pride. Nira turned to him, her expression a mixture of awe and respect. "Leo, you did more than navigate the garden. You acted with courage, cleverness, and care. You saved both yourself and me, and the garden recognizes that. Humans, you are extraordinary." Leo shook his head slightly. "I didn't do it for recognition. I did it because it was the right thing. The garden is alive, it needs respect, and we must protect what is precious." The flower pulsed again, brighter than ever, sending a gentle warmth through the clearing. Leo felt a connection, almost like the garden itself was acknowledging him as a worthy visitor. Nira approached the flower carefully and placed a hand near the glowing petals. "Few beings ever reach this point," she whispered. "Most fail when danger appears. You have proven yourself fully." Leo smiled faintly. "The garden teaches more than strength. It teaches understanding, patience, and courage together. Today, I learned all of that in one moment." The sun dipped lower, casting long shadows across the grove, turning the petals golden orange. Leo and Nira sat near the rare flower, catching their breath. The garden hummed around them, alive, patient, and aware of every thought and action. Nira looked at Leo, a faint smile on her lips. "Tomorrow, you will face the final test. Everything you have learned, mind, heart, courage, will be challenged together. Are you ready for that?" Leo gazed at the glowing flower and the surrounding garden. He felt a quiet confidence. "I am ready," he said. "The garden has taught me much. I will face whatever comes next with respect, courage, and care." As twilight fell and the air shimmered with soft light, the garden seemed to settle around them, acknowledging the human who had faced its greatest tests so far. Leo knew the final challenge awaited, but he felt prepared. The garden of seduction had revealed its power, and he had met it with heart, mind, and courage combined. The morning light spread gently across the garden, casting soft shadows among the glowing flowers. Leo and Nira walked slowly toward the central grove, where the rare golden flower shimmered peacefully. Today was the final day of the garden's tests. Every petal, every vine, every hum of the garden seemed alive, aware, and ready to observe their final actions. "Today," Nira said softly, "the garden will test everything you have learned: mind, heart, and courage together. Only those who understand all three can leave with the garden's true blessing." Leo nodded. He had faced puzzles, emotional reflections, and danger, but he knew the garden still held one final trial. He took a deep breath, steadying his thoughts and calming his heart. The path ahead shimmered strangely, as though the plants themselves were forming a living corridor. Each step Leo took caused subtle changes in the garden: flowers leaning gently toward him, vines curling back, light pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat. He realized the garden now recognized him, but it still demanded careful observation and respect. Suddenly, the path split into three directions. Each route seemed equally inviting, but subtle differences hinted that only one led to the flower's deepest chamber. Leo studied the plants carefully. He noticed that the petals along the middle path responded to calm and confidence, while the other paths glowed brighter when touched by hesitation or fear. "This is the final puzzle," Nira whispered. "The garden tests judgment. Choose wisely." Leo stepped onto the middle path, moving deliberately and slowly, observing the reactions of the flowers. As he advanced, a gentle wind carried visions of past challenges, the maze of reflections, the vines of patience, the floating musical flowers. He realized the garden wanted him to integrate everything he had learned, not just act instinctively. Midway through, a sudden surge of vines rose on both sides, forming a barrier. This was the final danger, the culmination of all prior lessons. Leo quickly assessed the movement, recognizing patterns in the vine's reactions. He used gentle pressure and careful timing to guide them aside, while keeping Nira safe by holding her hand and moving in sync. The garden shifted again, testing both courage and observation. Leo's focus did not waver. He remembered every lesson: remain calm, respect the environment, act with intention, and trust both mind and heart. Slowly, the path cleared, revealing a hidden chamber where the rare golden flower glowed more brilliantly than ever. Leo approached it with reverence. The light pulsed like a heartbeat, warm and gentle, as if welcoming him. He extended his hand but did not touch the petals. Instead, he allowed his presence to convey respect and admiration. Nira stood beside him, quietly observing. Few beings ever reach this chamber fully. Most are stopped by fear, doubt, or impatience. The garden sees your mind, your heart, and your courage, all working together. The golden flower seemed to respond, glowing brighter and sending a gentle wave of warmth throughout the chamber. Leo felt a connection, as though the garden was acknowledging his understanding, respect, and bravery. The hum of the surrounding plants harmonized with his heartbeat, creating a sense of peace and accomplishment. It is more than beauty, Leo said softly. It is wisdom. It teaches without speaking, guides without forcing, and tests without anger. I have learned much here. Nira nodded, her eyes shining. The garden has accepted you. It will remember your presence and allow future humans who come with similar respect to explore its wonders. Your courage and intelligence leave a lasting impact. Leo smiled, feeling a quiet pride. He had not just survived the garden's challenges, he had grown through them. The lessons of observation, patience, courage, and empathy would stay with him forever. As they prepared to leave, Leo turned back for one final look at the golden flower. The glow reflected in his eyes, and he felt the garden's energy surrounding him like a gentle embrace. I will return someday, he whispered. And I will continue to learn from you. Nira's expression softened. Humans are rare in the galaxy, Leo. You have proven why stories speak of your ingenuity, courage, and heart. The garden now honors you, and your example will inspire others. The shuttle awaited at the edge of the garden, quiet and ready. Leo stepped aboard, carrying not just the knowledge of alien flora, but a deeper understanding of life, courage, and respect. Nira waved from the edge of the path, and the garden seemed to shimmer in farewell, glowing softly under the rising sun. As the shuttle lifted off, Leo looked down at the garden, its colors and shapes stretching endlessly, alive and patient. He knew that the lessons he had learned here would guide him through countless challenges ahead. The Garden of Seduction had revealed its deepest secrets, rewarded human ingenuity and heart, and left a legacy that would endure. For the first time in his explorations, Leo felt a sense of true connection with a world that was alive, thoughtful, and wise. And he knew that humans, with courage, intelligence, and empathy, could leave a lasting mark wherever they went. The garden glowed beneath him as the shuttle disappeared into the sky, a silent promise that knowledge, respect, and courage would always be rewarded.